Hello everyone, this is CW here, back again with another episode, and apologies for the delay. I was basically at my family's for the weekend, and I really had to wait for a little bit, not because of family thing, but to actually give my thoughts on the latest episode, which was the highly anticipated Gru Vs Megamind. And I'm just going to get on with it, and I wanted to make sure, especially as you can see from here, I changed the settings in OBS for the canvas setting and the frames per second to 720, 180, and 30 frames, like I said. So hopefully the video will come out clean, as Junko's Springtrap video was, for those who've not seen. But I especially wanted this to work because, to tell you the truth, this was, out of all the Kickstarter episodes, especially this one being the last one, this has to be, in my opinion and criticism, the worst of the Kickstarter episodes for Death Battle. And I will explain why earlier in the video. Because, telling you the truth, there was ever since the sneak peek of the criticism and all, I had concerns, and the preview had it promised, but as I've watched the episode and clearly thought about it, this was poorly done, and I'll explain why. And before that, I especially wanted to credit Drunk's blog of Gru Vs Megamind, Drunk Giraffe, and the G1 Prediction blog in my reasoning for this. As those two, I'll put a link in the comic, not in the description, sadly, because apparently YouTube AI has been flagging channels for copyright, and just a safety precaution, hopefully it doesn't affect the comment. But if you want to, like and subscribe, and I'll just get into it with the episode. As you can see from the back, art designs.
Gru Vs Megamind!
You either die a despicable villain or live long enough to become an admirable hero.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
It's not as good, but let's just...
Evil never dies. It merely goes dormant, waiting for a villain to arise and spread its name to the darkest corners of the earth.
Like a man so evil, he cuts in line at the coffee shop and makes balloon animals for kids and then pops them in their face. What a despicable man!
The world would surely tremble at his name, Gru.
Really?
Really surprised that they didn't get copyrighted for this. I was concerned of making this later on that the episode would be demonetized, you know, like Beerus vs. Galaxia. But thankfully they mentioned...
Just Gru? Doesn't have some sort of stage name or like doctorate or, you know?
Felonious Gru, son of the supervillain known as the Bald Terror.
Oh man, he's so dead.
Even as a small child, Gru had...
And like I said, the research... I'll explain later on, but so far nothing wrong with like the editing and the cinematography, as those were pretty good. And I like the email, and as you can see oh yeah, I forgot, well, no one cares about Ellen DeGeneres anymore.
Had big aspirations. He could make rocket bikes, cheese rays, and this... dog?
And his arsenal grew even more with the help of his new best buddy, Dr. Nefario. See? Now that's a supervillain name. Come on, man.
With Nefario's help, Gru's gadgets grew gadgets. Flamethrowers, sticky fingers, fantastic entertainment for 2-year-olds, and a fully weaponized airship. Though I must question this thing's aerodynamics.
It's loaded up with wing-mounted machine guns, a rocket thruster that can escape the Earth's atmosphere, and a whole lot of missiles.
Despite the impressive firepower...
Alright, airship, fart gun, flamethrower, freeze light, yeah. So, their main arsenal.
Gru's go-to weapon seems to be his freeze ray, which can encase most people in ice with a single shot.
With his gadgets and gusto combined, and a little teaching from the School of Villainy, Gru started making strides in the underworld of evil. He swiped the crown jewels when he was only a kid, nabbed the New York City Jumbotron just for fun, and even stole both the Eiffel Tower and the Statue of Liberty.
From Las Vegas.
Yeah, Gru was bad, but he wasn't good at being bad. A lot of his schemes kind of blew up in his face.
The line dividing genius from moron is a thin one. Just look at us.
Oh yeah, my back hurts from carrying all the genius between us.
Regardless, while Gru may not have been the infamous villain he'd hoped, he did earn the loyalty of a few guys.
Guys?
Yeah, guys, like little guys. There's Kevin, Bob, Stuart.
I do hope that the minions do return. Especially the rabbits. The rabbits in that Rayman game were pretty amazing. So I hope they return.
Otto, Billy, Larry, John, Liam, Chad.
Oh, the Minions! And that's not just their role, it's the actual name of their species.
Right, the minions have existed since the dawn of life itself, over 3 billion years ago, and they all follow one instinct: to serve the biggest, baddest, most despicable villain they can find.
T-Rexes, Count Dracula, AI artists, whatever evil they can lay their grubby little eyes on. Or just one eye, but
Double standard with the AI stuff, but like, it's a tool.
finding their big boss was the easy part. Keeping them, not so much.
The amount of times the minions have incidentally caused the death of their own bosses is staggering.
Wait, didn't one of them serve the Queen of England?
What about it?
Nothing.
The minions witness Gru's villainy firsthand and decide.
What's that?
Staggering.
Wait, didn't one of them serve the Queen of England?
What about it?
Nothing.
The minions witnessed Gru's villainy firsthand
Oh, the Elizabeth joke. That was funny.
and decided that he would be the next big boss they follow.
It worked out like PB&J, because like Gru, these guys do
Minions, like,
machines.
The minions invented the fly swatter centuries before humans did. They somehow crafted light bulbs and instruments while living in the Arctic. So naturally, building Gru's absolutely massive evil lair proved a simple task.
They're geniuses. They once pulled off a jailbreak by building a flying machine out of prison outfits, vans, computers, and toilets. Aisle seaters are in shambles right now.
And they're seemingly invulnerable, having been smashed flat, set on fire, and exploded by missiles even inside their own mouths. But also, they're possibly immortal? Kevin here has been around since the dawn of their species, which means Kevin is 3 billion years old.
And their numbers keep increasing. Over 10,000 minions clock into work every day.
And yet, in a real work setting, they'd be fired in minutes.
Oh yeah, there's nothing like a banana, a popsicle, a butt, or anything remotely silly to distract them enough for plans to go off course. But these guys love TikTok.
It's no wonder that, even with thousands of minions at his back, Gru still couldn't cut it as a supervillain.
I like the analysis so far. Like I said, the editing and like the bios is there, but like the main problem is the
Maybe it was time to hang up the freeze ray for good, but not before taking a chance at his ultimate dream.
Still the moon!
Easier said than done.
Oh no, really? The moon?
When he couldn't get the shrink ray he needed on his own, Gru required a new, even more despicable weapon.
Children. Specifically, adopting 3 girls. And somehow it worked! Crime of the century, here we go!
How tragic that through all the dance recitals and unicorns, Gru discovered the joys of fatherhood.
Oh, story of my life. God, I'm so proud of her. Anyway, out with the villain and in with the bedtime stories.
But even though he turned a new leaf for his daughters, Gru wasn't done commanding his minion army. Now he'd just do it as not.
Yeah. Stole the moon, survived being eaten by a shark. Yeah, this is kind of like focusing on the movies and not the crazy stuff like in the games, or especially
A villain by joining the anti-villain league.
The AVL hooked him up with lipstick tasers and goop grenades, mini submarines and high-tech cars, and some great date nights with the future Mrs. Gru. Things are looking up, buddy.
5 minions even underwent experimental procedures to become more powerful than before. the Mega Minions.
Tim stretches. Dave got super strength. Gus got super strength and flight. Sorry, Dave. Jerry became an indestructible brick monster who eats live bombs. He's my favorite. And Mel's new laser eye can blast through the planet and hit a satellite on the other side in less than a second.
Calculating its speed across the Earth, that's 5% the speed of light.
So, Gru's true calling wasn't being a villain at all. He's an anti-villain. And he's good at it, too. This guy can dodge heat-seeking missiles and casually punch out a shark in one shot. All because he was in full dad mode.
But the most incredible element here is easy to miss. For billions of years, the minions have had the biological drive to serve the greatest villain they can find. And yet, despite Gru's turn away from villainy, they chose to continue serving him. The minions' love for Gru is so strong, it overwrote their primordial genetic code.
They still see great.
Love or hate the minions, like, I still gotta respect they have enjoyed the icon and all, like, this still enjoyable. They have their moments of annoyance, but, like, this still...
Is in him even now. After all, felonious Gru will go to the moon and back to keep his family safe. Wait, Kevin, don't touch that button!
That's funny.
Okay, Megamind should be up next, but there is a chance that it got totally nuked by DreamWorks since they hit our preview last week.
Don't worry, we have a plan. You can watch the complete Gru vs Megamind episode on deathbattle.gg. That's our website, it's linked below. It has every episode of Death Battle uncut, unfiltered, uncensored. Even the weird ones.
It's kind of like our own private Patreon with memberships that support the show directly. And for this week, you can get a membership for a month for free by using the code PRESENTATION. All caps, that's important.
Being a member gets all sorts of extra goodies and behind-the-scenes stuff, but the important thing is you'll be able to watch the unaltered Gru vs Megamind episode for free.
So head to deathbattle.gg right now and use code PRESENTATION for a free month of membership. All caps, remember.
What happens when the villain wins? On a grim, dark day, the citizens of Metro City learned the horrifying answer to that question when their hero, their Metro Man, was lost forever. Bested by the fearsome supervillain destined for greatness, Megamind.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
Bested by the fearsome supervillain destined for greatness, Megamind.
Yeah. This is, like I said...
Cause if your rival's name is gonna be that on the nose, you better match that energy. Their feud goes way back to when they escaped their dying planet Superman style, and immediately got in each other's way.
While Metro Baby landed in a nice and cozy home, he caused the weird blue kid to crash land in prison and literally grow up behind bars. What kind of city government would make the kid stay in jail?
It wasn't as bad as you'd think. He was a perfect fit for the Metrocity prison for the criminally gifted.
Metro City.
But while everyone outside bars loved that new kid who could fly, they weren't too keen on the boy with the big blue head and his constant string of destructive accidents.
So if he was going to be the bad guy no matter what, why not embrace it and become a true supervillain?
Sounds kinda like you. Megamind is a genius inventor.
And yeah, and like you said, Gru and Megamind basically can break the fourth wall and all. They are like canon and can exist in the real world. Yeah, head is larger than humans. Yeah, and here's where the spin-off or like the terrible prequel sequels come in. And
creating weapons to stage prison breaks before he could even talk.
It does sound like me. With a bit of tutoring from Machiavellian in the ways of wrongdoing, he got to work on his crime-starting career, facing off with his destined rival over and over again.
And Megamind's got everything he needs. An invisible car for getaways, assuming he can find the thing. A hover bike for flying and shooting at the same time, if he can multitask. Lasers, bombs, bubble guns, baseball bats, jet boots, and more galore.
But his go-to is the D-gun, a laser pistol with various possible effects, such as destroying, decelerating, demoralizing, de-locking, de-gravity thing.
I wouldn't expect a guy calling himself...
So yeah, the D-gun is definitely one, and the Death Satellite is like the big trump card, and as you can see, the Binky is mentioned in the spin-offs and all. Even the Porta Bazooka. So
Megamind, to have the best name ideas, Wiz. He probably based the entire thing around his favorite setting, dehydration, which turns people and objects into tiny cubes for easy storage, though they can be returned to normal with a drop of water.
He did keep the whole mind thing running with his horde of henchmen, the Brainbots. These mini-mechs follow Megamind's every command, even pulling off the most incredible drone show you've ever seen in your life.
Which, according to the director's commentary, is made up of over 100,000 Brainbots. Though, ironically, I wouldn't call his Brainbots, smart. That designation goes to Megamind's proper minion, Minion!
Minion serves many roles for Megamind.
Minion on par with Megamind. Yes, he has created technology and even battled equal against him.
Sidekick, guy in the chair, awkward sibling relationship despite technically being his pet.
The best fish friend you could have in your plans to kidnap news reporter Roxanne Ritchie to piss off Metro Man for the 19th time this week. Or for the final time. Children, shield your eyes!
He did it! Thanks to his most powerful invention of all, an orbital death ray that could shatter mountains, Metro City's hero had fallen. It was Megamind.
Ultimate foreshadowing.
It's time to rule.
And he had no idea what to do next. With Metro Man dead, what was even the point?
Clearly, he needed a new superhero to fight, and apparently, he could just make that happen. With his diffuser gun, he injected this loser with Metro Man's DNA, turning him into Metro Man 2.0, Titan.
Megamind even trained him himself, using his disguise generator and expert acting skills. What a performer! But for all his smarts, Megamind is a terrible judge of character. When Titan turned tyrant, Metrocity needed yet another superhero to save it.
Metro City. Thanks to some encouragement from an old friend, rival, who wasn't actually dead at all and just let all of this happen despite having godlike superpowers. Thanks to some encouragement from a very experienced friend, Megamind stepped up to the plate.
Hey, he had the moxie for it. Megamind's tanked explosions and dodged electric blasts. Titan was strong enough to toss around a skyscraper, and Megamind put up a solid fight with his mech armor.
A suit specifically designed to mimic the pilot's movements, whether it be lamppost sword fighting, busting a move, or being surprisingly stealthy.
And with quick thinking and some hench help, Megamind taught Titan a lesson he knew all too well. The bad guy always loses.
So the city decided to just forgive Megamind of all his years of terror and destruction and call him their superhero. I guess they didn't really have any better options.
Hey, Megamind took his new role.
So, as I am seeing one of the big criticisms, they didn't mention the Doomsday short, which, if you know, when it came out on DVD, it's like the Doomsday device where Megamind like sells all his weapons except like his giant mech, the Doomsday, in case he dies and all. That's not even mentioned, and that's a big factor in this fight. Oh, he did turn the electric motion gel, but especially, like, I'll wait till later.
Well, as the city's hero, seriously. He even built a suit that mimicked Metro Man's strength, flight, and X-ray vision.
Now, the D-gun is used to make runaway bad guys lose their balance and get caught. His portal bazooka is excellent for saving people from out-of-control cars. And while the Death Ray might not have been a hero killer, it's certainly great at blowing up giant evil robots.
And Minion was all for it.
Actually, once they went nice, Minion had to legally change his name to Old Chum because of some other Minion-related thing.
What? You mean the yellow guys?
No, I mean they got a cease and desist from Mr. Minion's Meatsicles.
Sounds delicious. I'm still gonna call him Minion. You can't break up this duo.
Even as Megamind uses his tools for good, destruction still tends to be inevitable. To the point that, as the new mayor of Metro City and his new partner, Roxanne instituted a policy that anyone inconvenienced by a Megamind battle would receive a free cup of coffee. That sounds horrifically ripe for corruption.
So that's why there's so many Starbuckses everywhere. At least the brain bots are covering all the cleanup. It's a messy job being a superhero, but Megamind's finally found his purpose, even saving the city from the Doom Syndicate, which is like 6 of him.
Okay, there are multiple timelines after the first movie. Each one involved Megamind facing the Doom Syndicate. In one timeline, he reforms into a...
Not without some self-induced difficulty. You have an instant wind gun on your hip. Use it!
Hey, with girlfriend, sidekick, and adoring fans to keep him going, it doesn't matter what sort of danger comes to town. Megamind will always rise up as the defender of Metrocity!
It's Metro City!
Alright, so so far, like I said, the backgrounds of the characters is good, but I'm. I'll wait until.
Biz, what happened to you? You look funny and squishy.
I'm over here, Boomstick. That's the new Death Metal plushie from YouTube, and it's available to order right.
Oh, like the one they made of me a year ago. You got jealous, didn't you?
What? No, mine's way cuter. Look at it, and you can get one by clicking the link.
Ah, they forgot to color one of your arms.
Boomstick, I have a metal arm. I always have. Oh, and if you order it, there's.
So I'll just
You
skip this,
dance.
but since you
Be
already
avail-
seen it already, but like.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
As you can see right away, my first complaint is the models. I do agree that it's the problem of the rendering. Not adding, you know, with Della Armas, he adds lighting and like special effects to like the skins and all, but that's still a major complaint as they feel flat. And it can be an exception since like Torian did Terminator for RoboCop, while the models and all have poorly aged, especially with the sync limping to the characters. Like, it still ages pretty good, but like, I'll wait until later on.
Minions, prep the artillery! We're not letting him get away!
Hi, peoples!
Ooh, and here I thought it was the hero who chases the bad guys!
And like,
Minion, I'm going to need a new pair of pants.
Yes, sir. Sending you the Sunday Best package. Take this!
like I said, the character models is not.
Razor!
A dark color scheme!
Strike ray!
Henchmen who look the same!
Laser gun!
Ingenious weaponry! You are suddenly a real supervillain! You're just missing one thing!
And what might that be?
So, fun fact, Death Battle actually did a tweet that this scene, like, this small detail is probably the best part, and like, wow, that shot is pretty good. I probably need, you know what, I'll probably use that for the thumbnail instead, but like, it's, for the, when I release this episode later, once you see this episode, but over 42,000 bots in all, to make this shot, which is still good, but like, the main problem I have that the animation feels flat. Sadly, I'll wait until.
Minions, assemble and start the music. Oh, check that mark in the morning. No, hey, we just fixed that. Come on, sir, smash him. Oh, hey, that's kind of cute.
You dare challenge Megamind in my own monstrosity? Do you even know who I am?
Well, life is full of disappointments.
Hey!
Banana!
Like I said, one thing I do appreciate about
Now, as you like to say,
Gun! If you're going to steal my lines, at least do it properly.
yeah. Okay, thank you for the help.
Minion, is the death ray ready?
Approaching. Getting there. Almost. Kinda. Maybe. On the way. Yes. Fire!
Roxanne's gonna kill me.
Remember this, villain! The good guys always win! This is how it's really done! Dehydration gun!
Villain! You mean...
Oh, wait a minute. This is all a big misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Huh?
The death is definitely does not help. I mean, good reference to the Mexican thing, but like, it is completely poorly flat. And like,
Oh,
not
work is
even
going
at
to
the
kill
Mega
me
Man
for
level
this.
or the thing. Okay. So, like I said, the big problem with this episode, I'll probably just get into it as I explain on. The big two flaws of this episode is, one is the animation. While it does have some visual cinematography and some cool moments, especially the Gru fight doing the not the Megamind, the minions, not the minions. Sorry, I'm just lost thought what I want to say about this, but the main problem, like the visual of like the SWAT bots forming as Megamind and all against Gru, that as a backshot, that like this surround the scenery and like the camera movement of direction cinematography was pretty good with it. The main problem is the execution with the model and like the lighting and all. It's just so it's cheesy. That's the best way. Not for the better, like, it's noticeable. A lot of people said, and especially does not help with the death. People expected, I think this fight could have been better if it was a minute longer, especially with, like, Minion being the one dying. Like, Mega Man most likely could, like a fake out, have an all-out thing with a mech, and then him probably piloting the Megamind. But, like I said, the ending is very cheesy, and I will not agree with the results.
I guess that's 2 for Gru, 0 for Will Ferrell.
With so many chaotic factors in this fight, it can get overwhelming trying to keep track of them all.
So we'll break it down 3 ways: arsenal, minions, and skill.
In terms of weapon versatility, Megamind definitely had much more to use. The D-gun alone had enough effects to match what Gru could do with nearly his whole kit. Throw in disguise generators, invisible cars, portal bazookas, and it's a lot for Gru to handle.
Just one problem. Megamind might have had variety, but Gru's weaponry was far stronger in scope. Sure, Megamind's death ray could blow up a mountain, but Gru's...
So, about that, the biggest criticism, especially that, they didn't mention the novel. Because in the novel, especially the death satellite is being trump card. The problem is 2 things. One, it confirmed that it does have light speed. As mentioned, it does go, when it fires, it does have the speed of light. And the second biggest one, it mentioned that it can harness the power of the sun, which is a big factor in this. But even without that, as like it could be better argued with Kevin reacting and all, like that's still a big flaw when you look into it and all. And to be fair, the shrink ray could be a good counter for it, but like
Shrink ray could take out the moon!
And is much easier to use on top of it. Frankly, much of Megamind's deadliest weaponry would have little effect anyway.
Check this out. When Gru first tried to get the shrink ray, he triggered a missile trap so explosive it created a mushroom cloud. Based on the size of the blast, that's about 4 kilotons of TNT, and all those missiles fired at him from point-blank range.
Shockingly, that's about 38 times greater than Megamind's orbital death ray. And Gru kind of just walked it off. Megamind's mecha suit could take big hits like that, but Megamind himself? No.
So Megamind would have a hard time blowing him up, but he could still dehydrate him, disintegrate him, freeze him,
another factor is that, like, in the comics, like, he, like, crashed it all in Metro City when he piloted it.
even
Like,
just
some
turn
big
off his
things.
gravity and send him flying into space, right?
Sure, though Gru does have some similar weaponry. As far as arsenal is concerned, Gru could take out Megamind through sheer firepower, but Megamind could potentially counter with the D-Gun's effects. It's a whoever shoots first wins situation. Their arsenals match up fairly evenly.
But these guys aren't alone. Let's cover Gru's minions and Megamind's minions.
1-to-1, one of Gru's minions was certainly more likely to take out a brainbot. Sure, minions may have the attention span of an iPad kid, but they can effortlessly hack, dismantle, and rewire most machines, like, you know, Megamind's brainbots.
And they just won't die! Certainly nothing the brainbots have can take them out. For all we know, the minions may be completely indestructible.
To be fair, maybe one brainbot doesn't stand a chance against one minion, but there are far more brainbots than minions in total, 10 times more, and the brainbots are a much more organized and focused unit.
Compared to the vanilla minions, maybe. But the mega minions are strong enough to rip and chop through metal like wet paper. Aunt Mel's got a history of destroying satellites with a laser beam strong enough to cut through the earth, so it's bye-bye Death Ray.
But we can't ignore the most competent minion of them all, Minion, or Megamind's minion, Old Chump.
He's way more competent than Dr. Navario, can operate all the tech like the mech suit used to fight Titan, and can match Megamind's brains and style beat for beat. Remember that whole presentation bit in the movie? Yeah, that wasn't Megamind, that was Minion.
While Megamind's army lacks the power of, say, the Mega Minions, having a second in command who's just as smart and capable as him makes up for it, making a battle of their underlings too close to call.
So, if neither of them has a clear edge in weaponry or their henchmen, what matters most isn't the tools themselves, but how good or bad they are at using them. It all comes down to skill.
Both Gru and Megamind have their share of less than genius moments and bad luck, but even in the face of things gone wrong, Gru tends to fail upwards, still ultimately completing his missions, unlike Megamind, who tends to fail much harder before he learns how to succeed.
And we love him for it. It's not like Gru has to put up with Elvis Superman, but even during their villain phases, Gru found some success, unlike Megamind.
Who also has a bad habit of not.
Yeah. I do think that the Doomsday, like the Peacock special did kind of affect him, but like that still shouldn't be a factor when you shouldn't be a downgrade into his cause of losing, unless it's a major impact to the story and all, which could make sense, but like that's still debatable.
Using his weapon effectively, like never using the D-gun against the Doom Syndicate, either because he can get easily flustered or he just loves showing off. So it's more likely Gru could succeed in a whoever shoots first wins quick draw situation with their arsenals.
Quick draw is right. Megamind dodge an electric blast is impressive, clocking in around half the speed of sound.
But it pales in comparison to Gru piloting hypersonic ships into space and dodging heat-seeking missiles at.
Those two are like heavenly lowball because like both of them have confirmed to react to light speed, especially comparing to other villains and others who can react. Even though that the Doom Syndicate is slow, they have shown reacting to laser beams and all. As one of the villains, mine did react to was a guy called Laser something, and then one of his bots literally been dodging lasers.
Mach 10, meaning he is fast enough to win that quick draw. Gru takes skill, which finally tips the scales. After a nail-biting back and forth, he has just enough to land the winning blow first, more often than not.
Sorry, Megamind. I think you losing was a atrocity.
It's Metro's Atros. The winner is Felonious Gru.
Next time
on Death Battle.
Was not expecting this to
Subscribe and.
So yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. I'll definitely make the prediction blog probably my video as soon as I'm done with this. But overall, the episode, it is fine as a bet. It's definitely better than like worse episodes. I consider like Venom vs. Bane and Blake vs. Mikasa like up there with like Goku vs. Superman 2 as like some of the worst. But however, even with those episodes, the animation were definitely far better in terms of not just cinematography, but just better pacing and all. And not only that, like I said, the death was probably the weakest of the Kickstarter. It was very lacking. It was a nice reference and all, but it just happened too soon. I think it should have been Minion instead, and like it should have been another minute longer at best, with like minion like sacrificing himself and like Megamind going all out with the Mega Man fight. Probably had the same effect and all, but like same ending with him, but like I said, the timing was so too. And the biggest problem I have is both the research and animation. The animation is, like I said, not the best, especially with everyone complaining about the models and all. That's still fair criticism. Best or worst, you when it comes to an episode, there's nothing wrong with criticism with like pointing out the good and bad and ugly. Like especially when you can use those to improve yourself. That's how Death Battle took it with like Ben 10 versus Hal Jordan or Green Lantern. Like they took that criticism to heart, didn't attack their customers, which is another important factor, and actually learn from it to improve for it. And not only that, they because of that criticism, they were able to make much of it and became one of the most hated episodes, actually become one of the most iconic ones, for the better and the worse. And for this one, I say, especially with the research and all, like this happening, like this episode, in my opinion, came out so soon. When you like look further into the blogs and all, like you realize that like this episode probably need another half month for it to go all out, especially with the major factors like the death satellite and all actually could change the fight. And again, Megamind and Gru doing laser beam. Like this one I have to disagree with the outcome, as I still think Megamind could have won this fight. But I do agree with the categories being 50-50 and really comes down to their skill. I do agree with Gru having better luck and being the better fighter and all, as I did my own prediction and agreed with the same thing. Just the problem is that Megamind had a better offense and defense with his tools and all, and his white cards made it very close. That made me even change. But overall, this episode I still consider the worst. It's like even worse than Bardock versus Omni Man and like Kratos versus Asura, because while those two episodes have their moments of backlash and all, they still came out pretty decent and all. Especially and visually as well, their animation and models were much better and all. I do think that if this was had another half a month, maybe they could have like did the rendering better. This episode could have been slightly better. But overall, it seemed like everyone agreed with this, and like disagree or disagree, I will accept my criticism, and I want to hear your thoughts and your opinions about this episode. And especially for next time, as like UG versus Danji, ooh, that one is like back-to-back close matchups, like Megamind versus Gru and like UG versus Danji this year. I'm actually glad we're getting a lot more anime matchups, as like they really need it and all, and to like take a break from like the superhero stuff and with the going back and forth with like cartoons and all. But that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope this episode with the video rain check is actually better. Hopefully it goes smoothly and all, but I hope you enjoy. Thank you all for watching, and I hope see you all next time. Till then, stay awesome.